Senator Hagerty.
I want to thank you, Chairman Kennedy, Vice Chair Murray, for holding this meeting. And Secretary Wright, it's wonderful to see you here. I've enjoyed getting to know you, and I'm so pleased that someone with your expertise and background is playing the role that you are for our nation. You and I have discussed this before, but the United States is at a pivotal moment in energy production. It's not just for our nation. It's for the entire world. And but before I go on, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank you for coming to visit my home state of Tennessee just days after you were confirmed as U.S. Secretary of Energy. I was pleased to be there with you in East Tennessee. And I think you know Tennessee has been at the forefront of what you've called yourself as the Manhattan Project 2.0. And I was very pleased to introduce you there and to talk about how we can leverage the deep technological expertise that we have there in our home state as you take this department and lead our nation toward a new energy future. I think if we look toward the critical advancements in artificial intelligence and quantum computing, advanced manufacturing, they will define the 21st century. And all of these technologies require massive amounts of energy to succeed. So you are really at the cusp of what it's going to take for our nation to remain at the forefront and create the competitive advantage necessary for us to dominate future technologies. It's going to take strong leadership in energy. And if we fail, I think the U.S. really risks ceding ground to adversaries like the Chinese Communist Party. But I really believe that, as you've described, that America is at the threshold of an American golden age in energy, and that revolution is going to happen with your leadership. I'd like to turn to a specific point that we discussed, that's small modular reactors. And they're widely seen as the future of nuclear technology because they address the biggest challenges that have held back traditional nuclear power. And by that I mean specifically cost, scale, flexibility, time to deployment. Tennessee right now has the nation's only early permit for an SMR. And just yesterday, the Tennessee Valley Authority submitted their construction permit application to the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. And as we explore SMR deployment at the Clinch River site and through partnership with the Oak Ridge National Lab, I am very hopeful that Tennessee can become the catalyst for the United States' nuclear energy resurgence. But if we could zoom out a bit, Secretary Wright, I'd like to ask you how you see nuclear energy, particularly SMRs, playing a central role in advancing and achieving American energy dominance and grid reliability over the next decade.
Oh, I think it's critical, Senator. As you and I have discussed before, it is the critical technology that could scale wildly beyond where it is today, which is just electricity production, into huge-scale electricity production and process heat, an even larger, more critical source of energy to make everything in the globe possible. So I am all in with you on advancing nuclear. If I can give an analogy, Senator Hagerty, you talked about the stress. We need a lot more energy to meet this AI challenge.
Yeah.
To give an analogy, imagine if the military, the Department of the Defense, set out a quote to the defense companies and said, we want to buy tanks. We'll pay full price for high-performance tanks, but you can deliver us a tank that only moves some of the time, maybe when the sun's shining, and it only will shoot maybe when the wind's blowing. And so it's an underperforming tank, but we'll pay you full price for it. And further, we'll give you a subsidy to build the factory to build these tanks. So what do you think is going to happen, right? You're going to get paid to deliver an inferior tank. Subsidy, of course, you're going to do it. And then what happens to your Army? It's not just the poor kids that are in those tanks. It's the kids that are in all the other tanks that now have underperforming partners in the battle. They're at risk. That's what we've done to our electricity grid. We've burdened nuclear and natural gas and all our dispatchable energy sources with an unreliable, turns on sometime, turns off the other time, not there when you need it at peak demand, but yet we pay it the same price and we subsidize the development of it. It's not only made the grid more expensive, it's hampered the advancement of dispatchable energy technologies. Nuclear is the one that could burst through. But we need to fix some problems.
To stay on this, I know you've thought this through, but what steps is your department taking then regarding SMRs to deal with the regulatory hurdles, the financial hurdles, the technological hurdles that may be in the way of further SMR, more rapid SMR development?
Specifically in our purview, we've offered up DOE lands for test and demonstration projects. Come do it on our land. We're building test facilities at the Idaho National Lab so you can bring your reactor and test it in a containment dome that's on non-DOE thing. Just through normal processes, this stuff just happens just deathly slow. And then I'm very passionate about wanting to use the loan program office because the developer of these reactors are going to be grade A credit, hyperscalers that are buying the power or other things. But there's just not debt capital for these new reactors. I want to get grade A equity capital. I want to match it with LPO debt to get shovels in the ground and start building these reactors. Because as we build them, the costs will come down, the reliability, they'll be commercially bankable. We'll get to a great place. But relaunching the nuclear industry is not going to be trivial. And your efforts, and I hope the DOE efforts, it's going to take all of us to make it happen. But huge upside for all of us if we do it.
Well, I think of you members of this committee as your partners in that regard. Thank you, Mr. Chair.